Hey everyone, Dalton Grados here for a quick pre-market newsletter heading into this week of June 16th, 2025. First up, the obvious elephant in the room, war in the Middle East. As you can see, not really affecting the market that much. The markets don't really normally respond to these type of things. What does respond typically is going to be areas like oil. So crude oil had a big response here on the conflict going on in the Middle East. Also gold. So if you're in those markets, gold has been on a bull run already, and looks to be heading higher and higher. And same with oil is typically much more of a reactive response. But anyway, getting into the S&P, let's look at our levels here. So first of all, we're right near the all-time highs. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we make new all-time highs this week, just because, I mean, we've just recovered so much from this drop. We're just right there. And so all-time highs would definitely be a target. And I'm looking at the ES futures, so these numbers might be slightly different if you're looking at the S&P cash market. But those all-time highs, 62.93, would really be upside targets for me heading into this week. Now, it's worth noting that if we do get some downside action, we still have this gap here that needs to be filled. So I would mark a level here at 57.69 roughly, 57.70. That gap should be in play if we get some downward action. Below that, of course, we've talked about many times before, this 5600 level is a big key level should we get below the gap. But that is quite a ways away down right here. Now, keep in mind, heading into this week, we have, and I'm going to get a little bit into my current events real quick, but I'm going to come back to the charts to explain the third option, which is essentially doing nothing, right? This week, we could just really honestly chop around between, call it 6,000 and 6,100, could be a chop area. And the reason why is because we have our Fed this week on Wednesday. Fed funds, this is a Fed rate decision at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So we're not expected to see any change, and really not expected to see any rate changes until possibly September. However, it's still a Fed funds week, which usually means, as day traders know, Monday and Tuesday are choppy, nothing going on. Wednesday, the announcement comes out. But then this week in particular is interesting because we are closed on Thursday for Juneteenth. It's sort of a new holiday in the United States. But we do close the markets for Juneteenth on this Thursday. So we're going to have Monday, Tuesday anticipating Fed data. Fed data is going to come out Wednesday at 2 p.m., right? And then also Thursday morning, they're still going to release the inflation data, which is going to be, I thought I saw it in here. Maybe they're not. There was another calendar that I saw that we're going to have our normal inflation data that we have every Thursday. So I don't know why it's not on here, but there was another calendar, I saw it. So they're going to release inflation data on Thursday morning while the market is closed. So you're going to have all this data, Fed funds, and again, we're not expecting a change, but it's typically going to be, we're listening to Powell's comments in the press conference to indicate, what future rate cuts may look like. So we're going to have that Wednesday, and then the data Thursday morning, all while the market's closed, and then Friday, who knows what the heck will happen. So all of these factors playing in this week could cause the market really just to chop around in range this week and not really do much that's noteworthy. And again, if we look at the NASDAQ, we could see that we're even closer to the all-time highs up here. And same kind of ranges. We have this gap to fill down here. And so those would be the primary levels I'm looking at going into this week. Flipping back to our S&P, if we look at the intraday charts, really, again, we're just playing this range from 6,000 to 6,100. And then if we want to break down smaller ranges in there, I would say that these supports around 60.40 would be sort of a mid-range level to target. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you could break it down to smaller and smaller time frames, but typically we're kind of zooming out for the week and then getting a couple intraday levels that might be relevant. But like I said, this will be a shorter newsletter this week because markets in a range zone. Next levels on the upside are really the all-time highs. We have some areas below us to fill, but kind of an interesting week. There's no earnings that are notable, so not really anything going on earnings-wise. But again, FOMC on Wednesday, market close Thursday, inflation data Thursday morning. Could honestly be a choppy week, but marking our levels as we always do. These are the main areas that I would pay attention to. If I were day trading today, Monday, I would look to take this high there to target. Again, this is kind of resistance turns support up here, but targeting 6,100 ultimately. To the downside, I'd be looking for 6,000 to hold, and then these 60-40s kind of being a support in the middle of range. I would not take any trades right here where the market's at currently. Of course, it's 7:30 on Monday morning, so I wouldn't be trading in this anyway. But that's pretty much what I would look at going into this week. Again, nothing to overcomplicate, but a lot of the profits in trading don't come from the trades you take, but the times you sit on your hands. And not losing is just as important as winning, if not more important. So, if there's not much going on, don't force anything, right? Let's wait for this data to come out. Let's wait for the better setups to come. So, hope you enjoyed this. Again, subscribe if you haven't already. I do a free newsletter that's emailed to you every week. There's no catch, no upsells or anything. That first link is in the description of this video just to make sure you're getting this emailed to you every week, whether in written form or a video like this. It'll be in your inbox. And like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, if I missed something heading into this week. Obviously, like I said, the conflict in the Middle East is going to be dominating the headlines, but not really affecting our market indexes that much. It's going to affect, like I said, those areas of oil and gold will be mostly areas to watch. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.